So, OCD is a doubting disorder and it can take many different forms. So, when I was diagnosed 4 years ago, I actually had one type called Relationship OCD. And OCD tends to attack you in the places that mean the most to you. So, I don't know if anybody, has suffered with OCD or does, you might want to think about that and why it might be attaching to that part of your life. But for me, I know that relationships are like my number one value in life, and having a partner in life means everything to me. So I didn't know that that's what I was dealing with. I didn't even know that that type of OCD existed. We all kind of think of OCD and we think of checking or touching or, repetitive things, repetitive movements, repetitive behaviors. And mine was all repetitive thoughts. So my mind kind of never shut off when I was triggered. And with relationship OCD, your partner is actually your trigger. So whatever is triggering you, like your partner, it's causing some sort of fear within you that's manifested and kind of masked by anxiety. So I had been in relationships before, I had been with other people, but I had never felt the love that I had with my partner previously. And so I think that's when OCD kind of attacked me, when I knew that this was somebody I wanted everything with. And the feelings of love, I guess, just kind of triggered different fears that were buried for a long time due to other things they had manifested in different ways, like eating issues for me, obsessing about what I was eating for years, trying to control something that I had no idea what it really was until this had happened. So, with relationship OCD, you're doubting your relationship regardless of kind of what your heart feels. So, your heart and your brain are kind of battling each other, and it's super painful. So, like I said, it attacks you where in the areas of life you care about the most. So, when I fell in love, my brain doubted that I was in love and came up with certain reasons that I had to second guess my true feelings. So, if anybody out there has had anxiety before, you know that when you're anxious, that's kind of the only thought that you can, the only feeling that you can have. And it kind of takes over your life. It's that fight or flight, right? So you're anxious, you're worried, you're very just consumed in that world and can't really feel anything else. So my partner being a trigger for me, I couldn't feel the love, the safety, the hope, the comfort, all of those things that I knew that I had felt when anxiety was taking over. And it was such an ebb and flow with this anxiety. It was a pattern that I was having where somebody that I truly, truly cared about and wanted more than, everything with, had triggered this fear inside of me of fear of commitment, fear that I wasn't worthy of something. And these are all things that I came to unpack in therapy when I was triggered by so many what if this, what if that, what if this, what if that during our time together. And I had no idea what was going on. It's very hard to kind of describe to somebody because their doubts are normal. Like we all have doubts in life, right? So some people who have been in relationships will feel, yeah, like I wasn't sure that I wanted to be with my partner, or something my partner did made me kind of like question, is this the right person for me? But that's kind of where it stops for people, or they'll do something about it or realize that that's not really how they feel. But with OCD, we kind of catastrophize everything, and it's that we shouldn't be having these doubts, and it puts up red flags for us of, oh my God, if I'm thinking this way, then something is wrong and I need to change it now. And I need to freak out because I need to know the answer of whether this person is right for me or not. And that's kind of what I was dealing with without knowing. So, I had been with people before, never triggered like this, never had felt the way that I felt. And that's really why it was attacking me the way that it was. So when I was with my partner, it was the first same-sex relationship for me, which triggered a lot of other things that I had to unpack as well of, should I be with a guy? Should I be with this person? I have never felt this way, but, will my family approve? Will my friends approve? Who am I? It was a huge, like, rediscovering myself. So that caused a lot of anxiety, which then kind of just twisted itself into the relationship OCD that was already manifesting in a way that I would question everybody I saw on the street as to if that person was better for me or right for me and whether my partner was the right person or not. And my heart knew what it knew, and my brain didn't allow that. It was always looking for danger. And, it goes as far as to question your compatibility with your partner, emotional security, and questioning if your feelings are really true. Um, Certain physical attributes of your partner can trigger you of, something that they're wearing might throw you for a tailspin and say, I don't really like that. Okay, am I supposed to be with this person? And it's like wild because you're like, wait, it's just like not my favorite shirt or something. And then it goes into, oh my God, do I not like this person? Should I not be with them? Maybe there's somebody else out there for me. I need to break up with this person because I feel trapped, then I'm trapping them. And this is all going on in my head. I couldn't watch TV shows. I couldn't watch, I couldn't go out many times without having this dialogue, this monologue in my head. And you can kind of hide it, but at the end of the day, it's also exhausting. And so for me, it was my partner, the person that I loved, the person I wanted to be with, was also triggering this anxiety of like, oh my God, what if this isn't the right person because of how much I felt for them? And it's such a weird thing to try to understand. And, it probably will take a few videos to try to break this down. But as best as you can understand of like anxiety and just not feeling yourself or not just questioning so many things and the what ifs, we've all had what ifs. But with OCD, it's really how far you take it. And what happened with me is that I would question all of these things. What if I'm supposed to be with this person? What if I'm not supposed to be with this person? What if I disagree with my partner and that means that I'm not supposed to be, with her or whatever it is. I was so far down the rabbit hole of everything, God forbid we had differences, which are, what normal and what make people who they are. Um, it was red flags for me. So what I would do is when I was in that mindset, I would push my partner away and say, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not sure that this is what I want. Um, maybe there's somebody else out there. And then when my partner was away, because she was the trigger, I could then feel emotions again, besides anxiety. Not that I wasn't feeling emotions at all, but my anxiety would lessen and my love, longing, comfort, safety, hope, all of those things that I wanted and knew that were there, came back. So what did I do? I then pulled her back in and I said, wait, no, like, I'm sorry. All of those things were not true. Like, I don't know where they came from, but that's not what I want. And we kind of did this song and dance, and I had no idea what was going on. It was so painful for me, but for her as well. And I, at the time, felt like I was doing the right thing because I felt trapped in my own head. I felt I was losing my independence. I felt so many things that I couldn't separate from the anxiety that I was feeling that was really what was causing all of this. And, it tore us apart. And for a long time, I had to deal with the guilt, the self-blame, the regret. It's still part of me today. And it's a very hard thing to try to explain to somebody, especially when you don't know what's going on. So, I had to we basically got to a point where I had no idea what was going on. I wanted everything. I couldn't express that I wanted everything. And it's normal for somebody to say, if your partner is saying, I don't know if I can be with you, I don't know if this is what I want, it's normal for somebody to be like, then I can't stick around. If you're telling me this, then I have to believe you, and I have to, go do my own thing. But that was all fear. That was all anxiety. That was all masked of like, I was so, you know, deep at that point. Because when we were done and when I had finally, I had said, again, I don't know if I can do this, I was destroyed. I had to figure out what was going on. I was absolutely destroyed. And it takes a lot of peeling back layers to figure out why you're not able to accept and feel and enjoy. And that was what I felt. It was, why can I not just be? Why can't I just be? Why can't I be happy? Why can't I enjoy this? Why can't I trust what I'm feeling? Where all of these nonsense triggers, because I didn't care about the other people. Reality is like, but I felt like I had to. And it was peeling back. Why couldn't I commit? Why did I care what everybody thought? Who am I? How, like, why have I been dealing with this anxiety for so long? What has it covered up before? There's so many things that I had to unpack. And, blessing and a curse, obviously the curse is everything I just talked about. Blessing was being diagnosed and being able to unpack it and understand where it all came from. Unfortunately, it came at the expense of hearts and a lack of understanding out there with everybody. So there are different types of OCD. OCD itself is a doubting disorder of what if and if only, and a bunch of different ways that it manifests. But there is a core issue, and everybody that suffers from obsessive thinking or obsessive behaviors, I encourage you to kind of look deep and see where that stuff is coming from and how it's being portrayed. So there is a silver lining, and it does hurt. So I just kind of wanted to define that for people and give a little insight into what I had experienced 4 years ago when I was diagnosed. It was a breath of it was a breath of relief, and I had something tangible that then I could work with. Unfortunately, I didn't have the person there that I wanted working through it with me, but I couldn't stop myself from doing that. So everybody out there deserves to kind of find what is at the core of their anxiety, and it takes some curiosity, and it takes somebody to help you do it. It's not easy. So just want to shed some light. I hope to dive deeper into some of these things in upcoming videos. And yeah, thanks, guys.